This is the all-new Land Rover Defender, and we've been waiting for so many years for this car to come, and finally it's here. If you've ever been on a safari or even seen one on TV, chances are you already know what the original Defender looks like. And this is a very successful reincarnation of it, with a design that fully captures the original spirit. The overall boxy shape, the front rounded daylights, the hood, the safari windows on the back, the rear mounted spare wheel, the swing to open tailgate, and the tiny little taillights. All these elements are a direct reference to the past. The new Defender might have a modern chassis and independent suspension, but that doesn't mean that it's not as tough and durable as the old one was. Material technology has progressed, so now a unibody chassis can almost match the strength of a body-on-frame. So since we have no extreme payload requirements here, I see nothing wrong with it. Nothing. All Defenders come with air suspension that lifts the car very quickly and by quite a good amount. And on the road, it makes the ride super smooth, while off-road, it takes the beating for you, saving your spine. Inside, the Defender feels very rugged and luxurious at the same time. The design is utility-focused, and there are a lot of interesting things to talk about. First of all, most surfaces are covered in soft-to-the-touch materials. Some are leather, some are foam, some are even rubber. Obviously, the areas that will be used the most or need cleaning often are rubber, and possibly removable too. There are so many places to put your stuff. The whole dash is practically a shelf. You can even shove things behind the screen. The door pockets are large. The center console has a massive opening for items in the middle, and this one even has a little fridge. The cup holders have a cover, which you can use as a flat surface for a second phone, or you can use the same cover to protect the wireless charging pad. I'm not sure what's going on here, but it's pretty cool, I guess. The really cool thing is that if you want, you can have a third seat right here in the front. I mean, that's why they jammed all the controls up here, because all this goes away. A seat comes here that can also recline and then give you cup holders, but I'm not really sure I would do that, even though it's really cool and a direct reference to the old one. I mean, there's no airbag in the middle, so with today's safety standards, I'm not really sure how good of an idea that is. Plus, if you put the middle seat here, then you can't get the third row as an option, although that third row is also very tight, so I wouldn't bother either. This new Defender also comes with really good tech. The instrument cluster is all digital and looks great, but you do need to figure out what's where, because otherwise it can be a bit confusing, like for example figuring out if cruise control is on or off. The button layout on the steering wheel is dynamic and changes depending on the menu you're in. That might be cool, but it does need some getting used to as well. The infotainment system is totally new, and finally they got it right. The user experience is simply superb. The graphics are simple and elegant, the layout is easy to understand and use, the responsiveness is tremendous. The screen is also home to some very useful apps, like the 4x4 app that shows you all the necessary information when you're deep in shit. You can see your weighting status, your angles, diff locks, dimensions, everything is here. This Defender might be an SE P400, but it is equipped with the advanced off-road package, so it does get the Terrain Response 2 system and a 2-speed transfer case for a 4-low mode. You can control the Terrain Response mode by pressing this button here and then using the rotary dial to its left. You can pick between so many modes or just customize your own. You can pick between Eco, Comfort, Grass, Gravel, Snow, Mud, Ruts, Sand, Rock Crawl, and waiting. More off-roading in a bit though, because now have a look at this wheel. It's humongous, and look at the 9 and 3. It's so thick over here, like I can't even grab it with my hand. I mean, this is built for maybe like the Incredible Hulk's hand or Dwayne Johnson, but not mine. The funny thing about it is that the main body of the steering wheel seems to be something like plastic. It looks a little bit cheap, but you know what? I actually really like it. The seats are very comfortable, and the driving position, seriously, is excellent. The seats are half leather, and the fabric part feels very nice, and I generally like the design of them. They are heated but not cooled, so if you try to turn the dial to the left, well, you're SOL. The biggest miss here is that the rear seats are not heated, and for a vehicle that's meant to be in the middle of nowhere, probably in the middle of winter, that's a pretty big miss. I mean, don't you feel sorry for those poor guys in the back? In the back, in terms of roominess, headroom is enough for Andre the Giant, and legroom is enough for all of Shaquille's 3 legs. and width-wise, 3 adults will fit without being awkwardly close to each other. The trunk is absolutely massive. The capacity is 1,075 liters, it's lined in some really durable materials, it's square, and it has a lot of clever amenities. There are nets, hooks, even buttons to adjust the suspension height to help you load or unload. The door swings open, but you need to pull at the same time as pushing the release button, otherwise the latch pulls it back shut. It's a bit weird, but whatever. Side note for people that are not very strong, you better start working out because that door with that wheel on it is pretty damn heavy. Another really cool feature is the exposed metal on the doors and the bolts that are visible throughout the cabin. Also, this Defender could easily be used as a multi-plug. I mean, look at how many plugs are here. You have a USB-C and a USB-A on the center console. You have a 12-volt socket on the dash at the passenger side. You have two 12-volt sockets for the rear seats on the bottom, two USBs on the seats. I mean, come on, how many devices are you going to be charging here? Also, knowing that you'll be loading half of your belongings every time you go on a weekend excursion, Land Rover fitted a camera on top of a shark fin on top of the roof. And by flicking this flap on the rearview mirror, voila! You get perfect, clear view of what's behind you. Problem solved. Speaking of cameras, this one has great cameras for off-roading. Look at these views. They can really help prevent getting stuck against something or scuffing your nice fenders. The sunroof is simply massive, and you can even pick a fabric one too, but I wouldn't, but it is cool. This car is fitted with the Explorer package, and if you noticed, it has a snorkel intake, and it's actually functional. Great thing about it is that when you gun it, you can actually hear air being sucked through it. So it's like, it's pretty cool. It also adds a pannier-style suitcase on the side, which can be used for small items when you're outside the car, like a first aid kit, gloves, whatever. On the other side, you can fit an optional ladder to help access the massive roof rack. So now that you know everything about the Defender's body, let's check what's under the hood. The base engine is a 300 horsepower 4-cylinder 2-liter turbo, but this one is the bigger, stronger, better 3-liter turbo V6 with mild hybrid technology. It makes 395 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque, and it has made it to an excellent 8-speed automatic gearbox. Land Rover claims that 0 to 100 comes in 6.1 seconds. We tested it and found out that it takes 7.4 because it's really slow off the line. But overall, I have to say that this engine is very smooth, very strong, and produces a pretty nice soundtrack. I would definitely not say that performance isn't good here. I mean, it's totally adequate, but I can think that the 2-liter might be a little bit underpowered. This engine is a tiny bit thirsty, as while it's moving around this 2.3-ton SUV, it consumes about 16.5 liters per 100 kilometers on average. I mean, that's not terrible. The worst part about it is that once you start pushing it, that number climbs really quickly. The front brakes on the 6-cylinder are humongous, and that's also the reason why you can't get the steel wheels. The pedal feels perfect, and from 100 kilometers an hour, this thing came to a complete stop in 44 meters, which is not bad. On tarmac, handling is surprisingly good, especially on these road-friendly tires. It does initially lean a bit, but it quickly sorts itself out. Grip limits are high, and at the limit, it gradually starts pushing, but you can control the understeer by reducing your speed and using the excellent steering. The only odd thing is that it feels very big, but it isn't. I mean, it's under 5 meters. It's like 4.7 something meters without the tire and just over 5 meters with the spare tire. It also feels very heavy, but it isn't. It's 2.3 tons, and if you think about it, that's less than a Range Rover. Other than that, it's all good things on Planet Defender. Comfort levels are really high. I mean, the suspension is incredible. It smoothens out everything. Minus the noise, the aerodynamic noise of all the accessories stuck on this car, especially at highway speeds. I mean, it's like a concerto of wind noises out there. However, you can cover all that using the very good Meridian sound system, which, however, you need to tune first because when it's flat, it sounds like a Bluetooth speaker on the bottom of a wishing well. Once you tune it, it's great. Off-road is where this Defender was built to be. The passengers even have grab handles so they don't bounce around when you're speeding over huge bumps and humps. You can raise it all the way up and even put it in 4 low mode, and then you can get at it with no fear. I'm a little bit disappointed that there are no recovery points in the front. but I'm pretty sure there's somewhere to hook it up if you need to. Fully raised up, the approach angle is 38 degrees, the departure is 40, the ramp breakover is 28 degrees, and wading goes up to 900 millimeters. That's like 3 feet of water. Another very big thing about this Defender is that towing is massive. You can tow 3.5 tons. That is incredible. That's a lot of towing. We waited a very long time for this Defender, and just like Ford did with the Bronco, JLR really paid attention to this product, and it shows. The Defender is cool, and the coolness starts when you start building one online. You can pick from so many options, including an air compressor and a portable shower hose. So save your hate and respect what will become the next iconic truck. It does everything very well, and it doesn't cost insane money. The 5-door version, called the 110, in this SE P400 trim starts at 76,000 Canadian dollars, and as tested, this one here is 89,000. For a bit less, you can have the 3-door version called the Defender 90, which hopefully we'll be testing in the near future. Till then, this 110 walks away with an overall score of 9 out of 10 and leaves us with a huge desire of wanting to buy one. Anyway, if you like this video, remember to subscribe, share it with your friends, like. Most importantly, till next time, be well, take care.
Perfect.